What are your own thoughts? How do you see it? Nigerians are saying if the local governments are autonomous, there will be more development, it will come closer to the people.
First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity of giving me this platform. And I want to also thank God Almighty that in my time that something is about to happen that will deepen the democratic process of this country. When you come to become part of history, it is what money cannot buy. That today I'm seated here as a serving local government chairman, and the truth about the constitutional democracy we practice is about to come before the people. Where all of us Nigerians, including the executive at the first tier, the legislative at the first tier, and the judiciary at the first tier, those at the second tier, and those at the third tier, are clearly seeing that we as Nigerians who have agreed that we're going to run a constitutional democracy, all this while have been lying to ourselves. That today, that a man have taken this bold step to say, I wouldn't want to bring this as a charade or as a caricature, but I want to hold the bull by the horn and get this sorted out once and for all. And I think we have to commend Mr. President and his executive, as led by the Attorney General, for following the proper route, because this is the route that will rest these issues. The drafters of our Constitution were very clear. They knew that for you to deepen democracy, you must get to the unit, you must get to the family level, you must get to the community level. That is where our problems will start getting solved. We can't solve our problem from this studio. The much that this studio can do is to reach just 1 or 2% of the entire Nigerians who have an opportunity to view this program this morning. A lot of Nigerians are in the farms. A lot of Nigerians are in one chores or the other. Go to your community today. Maybe there's no electricity. A lot of people are not watching this program. They don't know what's happening. All they want to know is that how do they survive? Who will help them tackle the insecurity at the community level? Let me just plead you allow me just give you a small scenario. I became a local government chairman in 2015, 14th of November, to be precise. First time I got into that office. And I met a situation where everybody in my community and in my local government has packed out of the community and ran away. This is a local government that had the most powerful governor as it then was. Rotimi Chibika Amechi was chairman of Governors Forum. And his community, Ubima, where he hails from, where another governor also came before he came, Celeste Omea, his cousin, also come from. Everybody in that community ran out of the community, somewhere living inside the deep forest. These are practical things that happen. He was a sitting governor in River State Government House, and they were killing people on a daily basis in his community. Nobody cared. Every known prominent personality in our local government had their families evacuated from the community. All their elderly ones, their aged parents, you're all living in the cities. Traditional marriages, chieftaincy titles, ceremonies are now held in the cities. But when we came, we said, no, somebody needs to bay this cat. How do we do it? And we had to think with our local people, the hunters of the community chiefs, the CDC, on how to provide local solution. Because the police was overwhelmed. The Nigerian army was overwhelmed. Nobody could create solution to solve that insecurity. How did we get it solved? This local government system got that problem. So with the help of the then governor of River State, Chief Barrister Nyesom, who created a security architecture called Operation Sting, gave us support and said, all the 23 local government chairmen, I don't want to hear about globetrotting. I don't want to hear about you leaving your service areas. Sit down there and get this sorted out. We didn't totally stop there. Remember the issue of suit. Suit was a matter that had no solution. But the governor then stood up and gave a challenge to the same local government chairman and said, listen, it is not working elsewhere, but it can work in River State. We can make it work. Go and face these vandals. Today, you're talking about the up in oil production. It is as a result of that work we did at the local government level. Now, as we speak, there is no more suit. Suit is a forgotten situation in River State. As if that's not enough. In the 23 local government in River State, all the chairmen are competing among themselves. Healthy competition, doing projects in all their wards. Me, for instance, I talk about myself, because my projects are cascaded in your studio. Eventually, all my commissioning, your studio are invited. And most times we go live. Most times we call for national news network for the people to know what we are doing as a local government. We do two projects per ward. We built our local government secretariat to a world-class government house. We built Corpus Lodge that the DG of NYC came to commission. Just recently, we built an automobile market with a motor park with free buses for our people. These are services a local government can do. How are we doing this? We are doing this because we now had an opportunity to manage our resources under the leadership of Nyesom Wike, who said, listen, I was a local government chairman. I was chairman of Argon. I want to teach you people how to do work because I, as a man, believe that this is the tier that people should groom, leaders that will take over. You don't just bring people and give them state appointments who have no knowledge of what governance is all about, who have not made mistakes at any level. And you bring them to the state and federal level for them to make mistakes that will destroy the little resources we can gather. So we want to commend Mr. President for taking this bold step. Like I tell people, every leader that wants to succeed will make a mistake. Mr. President has done two things that a lot of leaders were scared of doing. The last guest that you just had is trying to tell us about Mr. President not thinking deep to say subsidy should go. Virtually all the presidential candidates that campaigned in the 2020 election said at the first day in office that they will let subsidy go. So what's wrong? The truth of the matter is that when you are letting subsidy go, you must be ready to face the clash, the backlash that will come from it. And it's called challenge. All over the world, leaders will face challenges. So Mr. President has done two things. One, he has let subsidy go, and we will all as Nigerians come together, both Labour, both me and you, knowing that we don't have another country, that we must think of a way to get this country sorted out and sort out this issue of people stealing our resources to the nearby countries and making us look as if we are fools. We don't know. Right. Finally, before you come in, please, let me say this. And Mr. President has also come again to say, no, for democracy to work and deepen, let the third tier be allowed to breathe.
Yeah, that's where I want us to concentrate, actually.
Yes, indeed. So maybe you should share your experience with us, because the last person that we had on this show, who was once a local government chairman, did say something that as for the period he was in office, he could only see alerts coming to the local government account, but he does not have access to those monies to be able to develop the place. So if you're doing so much in your local government, how are you accessing your own money? Do you have access to your account as a local government chairman, or is it the state that is actually, giving you what you used to develop?
That is the problem, and that is why this move by Mr. President is golden. In fact, it's going to settle a lot of issues in our development and in our democracy. First of all, the law says there's going to be a joint allocation account that is held between the state and the local government. The state goes to the FAC meeting, gets their FAC, comes to the local government. The law says we should sit down and meet. And when we meet, just as they do in the federal level, where commissioners meet with the Ministry of Finance and all the rest, and they look at the books and no work. That's why states will wake up and say, no, this FAC, we are walking away. We don't accept this sharing formula. But at the local government level, we come and we see a reverse. Instead of holding Jack, a governor will sit back and write a letter and ask his workers, who are at the state level, the accountant general, to bypass elected local government chairmen and go and pay civil servants and don't pay political appointees who are also Nigerians who have worked for the past 3 months. You say they shouldn't be paid. Elected councillors, vice chairmen, local government chairmen, security agents, those who do the day-to-day work. But you say they should pay civil servants because you believe you came to power because you are a civil servant, that civil servants are your stock. I've never seen this kind of thoughts. The law of Nigeria is meant for everybody to govern. You want to be the president of this country, you must govern this country by the constitution. You're the governor of a state, you must govern that state by the constitution. You're a local government chairman, you must manage your local government by the constitution. And the constitution says you cannot bypass Jack to pay any local government. In fact, the governor is not the chief accounting officer of any local government. It is the elected local government chairman that are the chief accounting officers of the local government.
So let me ask you this. In Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, what is your relationship with the state government? Is it because you've talked about what you've been able to achieve in the past. And Nkoli asked you, how were you able to do this? As of this morning, today, what is your relationship as local government chairman with the state government?
First of all, coming to this studio, I told myself that this is a very important discussion and I won't want to trivialize it. My relationship with a man, whether my wife, my son, my brother or my sister, it doesn't really count when I'm holding public
No,
office.
I didn't ask you.
I want to answer
I
your
didn't
question.
ask you your relationship with the governor. I'm talking.
So.
No, I said the state government.
Okay,
I didn't say the state government.
In terms of
accessing funds
for your developmental
of working for your yes.
As I'm talking to you, the state government has withheld allocations meant to my local government for the past 2 months, and for another local government called my local government, my sister local government, for 3 months, because the governor believes that I don't attend his functions, or I don't like, or he doesn't like my face. And I say, sir, even before you became governor, I was already a local government chairman. And in democracy, even if we disagree in whatever level, you shouldn't come to the job. The constitution cannot be breached because I didn't greet you this morning. No, that's the truth. And if we want democracy to work all over the world, you see, people say things, and we say, look, we must come to a level where we must be able to tell ourselves the truth. For somebody to be able to say he's the president of this nation, the governors are considered very powerful in their contributions. But when you come to the state level, instead of the local government chairmen who are supposed to be very important to the contribution of making a governor, then the table now turns. They become those that are intimidated into submission. So how is democracy going to work? When you said no, you are kicked out of the office. Caretaker committee is fixed to replace you. In fact, they can even take your wife to let it, so that you feel the heat the more, to become the caretaker committee chairman, so that you know that you have to be loyal to submission. But for us, we are not saying what we're saying today because we have a lot of time in the office. But what we're saying is that we have been there. We know it's going to work. We know that 704 local governments in this nation can work if everybody play by the law or by the constitution or by our grand norm, however you're going to look at it, and say, I might not be your friend, but because the people believe in my strategy and my agenda, they voted me. You will need to manage me based on the law. So and that is what democracy is all about, all over the world.
So is it only Ikwere local government that is being denied of this fund? Because I know there are 20.
We are 23 local government. 21 of us have been denied. Only 2. Opopo Koro, where the governor comes from, and Bonny, that is those who the governor believes that are loyal to him, are the ones he released funds to. And we're asking, what manner of high-handedness with this? Have we come to a banana republic where a man will sit up and say, I will not release funds meant to pay worker salary because Mr. Nwanosike Samuel is not loyal to me?
But before the governor, before Fubara became governor, how were you accessing? Because we're talking about this is a constitutional issue. Yes. There was a joint account.
It's not,
you talked about the meetings and all that you hold. So, was it easy for you to access your account at that time before now?
We've never had this kind of situation. We attend JAC, we go for JAC meeting. After the meeting, first of all, it's 2 sections. There is a section between the treasurers and the management body, the Ministry of Local Government, headed by a commissioner and a permanent secretary. They finish that section. In the afternoon of that same day, we meet, local government chairman, the treasurers, and the ministry. We look at the books of what has come, and everybody is okay. We sign, funds are transferred as agreed by the law to the various local government. It was smooth and simple. It was going very well. Until a man decides to breach the constitution, which he swore to uphold. The point we are making is that Mr. President has done the needful by approaching our lords at the Supreme Court. Nigeria is in their table now. If you want Nigeria to work, it is not going to work only from Abuja. Nigeria will work when the 704 local governments become an entity that can work. And the only way they can work is if the governor allows them to work.
Okay.
Until the governors agree that this local government chairman or local government councils should work, we will still remain where we are.
Okay, do you think the joint account issue is a problem? Do you think there's a need for scrapping of that joint account in the constitution so that at least funds can be getting to the government, local governments directly from the federation account? Would it solve that problem?
Apart from that, there are also, if you watch at the prayers sent by the Attorney General, there are critical issues that were labeled there. One, who conducts local government election? Two, is it proper to have a caretaker committee to run, just like bringing a caretaker committee to run the state government? I don't know if you understand me. Or bringing a caretaker committee to run the presidency. Doesn't make sense. Three, is it right for a governor to bypass an elected local government chairman and pay the workers in a particular local government? These are the three critical issues that has to be answered. And so we're asking our lords that the time has come for Nigeria to be liberated. Let me tell you what this will do. Once this full autonomy comes, we will start having credible leaders, even at the state level. Because, for instance, in Rivers, to have 23 local government. The last election that the incumbent governor, who was not even a politician, who had no political structure, won. He won 23 over 23. It has never happened in the history of Rivers State. Why did it happen? Because we local government chairmen, we are his campaign coordinators. And so, if we now have that autonomy and that authority, and we see that a man has no vision that agrees with the entire, he might agree with some few of the local government out of the 23, and he wins maybe in 5, 6, or 7, he can become governor. So, just as the states are very powerful in agreeing on who will become the president, it is also critically good and clear for the local government to also be part of those who will decide who will be governors of their states. That will place a check and a balance and will make our democracy work better, irrespective of who is going to feel the pressure now. Today, I am at the saddle. In my local government, security agents have not been paid. Insecurity has jumped up. Refuse have littered our streets. You can't even go to the council, it's like ghost town. Why? Because people are very angry with the action of Mr. Governor. When a man works, he deserves his pay. So a man has worked for 60 days, you've not paid the man because of whatever political play you think you're playing. It's unacceptable by any standard. So we are saying that our laws, whose this has come to the table, should please save us for once. Save Nigerians. I'm not talking about only Rivers State. Look at other states, even the states where you come from. If you can't check your local government, if your local government chairman is doing well, and somebody calls you on phone and says, that local government chairman that is doing well, that even your parents in the village will call you, say, madam, our local government has changed though. There's not pipe water in our ward. There's not this, there's not that. Our markets are not new. Hospitals, I built brand new hospitals with doctors' quarters, not one, not two, not three, in my local government. And your mother now calls you and says, oh, that local government that is working, we're hearing now that they have seized their funds. You won't be happy because you don't want your mother to come and stay with you in Abuja.
So that goes back to my earlier question. That do you think that if the funds come directly to local governments, without going through the joint account where the governors will have to superintend over that as well, do you think that will solve the problem?
That is the autonomy we're asking of. That is it.
One of the other issues is the conduct of local government elections. You mentioned earlier on that when a local government chairman is not in good standing with a governor, there's a very high probability that he will be removed, and his wife may even become the caretaker chairman, and that's clearly against what the Constitution says. So what we're looking at now is when all of this comes out into play, really, local government elections in the states, there's also argument about who should conduct elections, whether it's a state independent electoral commissions or INEC that should conduct these elections. How do you think all of this will play out?
That is why I'm saying, I don't know if you have a copy of the prayers sent by the Attorney General.
Yes, the points are all here that he talked about scrapping of SEC.
He was succinct.
Yes, on that. So listen, if this autonomy would work, then conducting of that election should be removed from the hands of the state government. That is why when they conduct local government election, the political party in that state will win all the seats. win all the councillorship seats. So there's no competition. Those who are supposed to man offices are not getting opportunity because they don't belong to a political party. And we're not getting results. So we are saying that conduct of that election should be taken out of the hands of state governments and sent to INEC. We still have the resources to do that election. INEC has offices in all the local governments. INEC has offices in all the 774 local governments. And don't forget, even our presidential election and our state elections, they all emanate from the units. The remaining thing you see is compilation. So why are you saying INEC cannot conduct local government election? The same INEC.
Some people think they will be overwhelmed because they already have enough.
In fact, it's going to be the simplest election for them.
They are simply broken down.
Exactly. No, hold on. How do we conduct presidential election? You come to the unit, you vote, result comes. That is the very result from the unit. The remaining thing is collation. You collate from the state constituency, produce the state assembly. You collate from the different state constituencies, you produce the governor. You collate from federal constituency, you collate House of Reps. You collate senatorial constituencies, you produce senator, you collate the entire state, you produce Mr. President and Vice President. The question is, why are you telling us, as educated as we are, that the same election cannot happen in that unit? And you say, this unit, how many units makes one ward? How many wards makes one local government? That is the result. Every local government has an INEC office. And they have the capacity, they have the... In fact, let me even shock you. The materials used by state governments or states here to conduct election are INEC materials. I challenge any state here today. No state has the database. In fact, if you go and conduct local government election without writing INEC for material, it's even a gram to annul that election.
Okay, points made. So let's get to another issue which is bothering many Nigerians, even though almost everyone seems to support local government autonomy. But the fact that this has happened for a very long time, and then you are working in your local government from what you have said here, but there are so many local government, even with the little they are getting, nobody seems to see what they are doing. You know, what you hear is a sharing formula. Whatever little that gets to them is being shared among, you know, people in office. So if this has eaten into the fabric of the people, you know, Nigeria as a people, corruption is also always there. The fear is that if this autonomy is actually granted, probably the monies that will get to local government, because they're already used to sharing, they may not even be able to deliver for the people. How do we also guard against this?
It's not correct. In fact, it's even the opposite of what you're saying. What is happening is what's even giving back to the corruption. Let me tell you why. If a man is called the chief accounting officer, and he knows that the fund is coming to him or her direct, and he knows that if one kobo is not properly spent, he or she will answer. He calls a chief, not chief accounting officer by mere words, the man will sit up. Do you know why they have corruption? They have corruption because a man would want to please so many big wigs in his local government area before he will be allowed either a second time in office or he's kicked out. For instance, I take myself as a practical example. I come from a local government that have bourgeois. Two former governors, Rotimi Amechi, Celestino Meya, and other political gladiators, bourgeois, in my local government. And when I became a local government chairman, some of these bourgeois called me to their houses like an advice, normal, to guide me. And I came. I know what a lot of them told me. I listened as a young leader. I was a student young leader in my university days. And I had a mindset coming to work for my people. And I told my team, I said, these are what our leaders have said, but we're not going to go that route. We are here to rebuild this local government. How can the local government have produced two governors and our local government secretariat is like a farm route? People go to farm from the route. Trees are growing in the offices. People have nowhere to sit down and work. No one project in it. Any time allocation comes, you don't know where it goes to. No, we want to know where it goes to. So we defied them for the first 3 years. And so after building all the things we built the local government, built all this. So when it got to the time for me to come for a second time, it became a problem. A problem where on the day of commissioning our council secretariat, all my leaders, all the bourgeois, including the former governor, I'm calling his name on national television, decided not to attend the function because they didn't want the then governor, to see me as somebody that is performing. They all didn't come. Okay, now, at the end of the day, the governor came there and said, young man, I have seen for myself that you are working.
Dr. Nwanosike.
I'll stand by you.
Dr.
That's how I got
Nwanosike.
my second term in office.
Dr.
So,
Dr.
turning the
Nwanosike.
table, if you give this straight autonomy to local government, I can promise you, like I know my name, Nigeria democracy will change for the good and local government system will start working.
It's a good place to
Very
leave
good
it, Dr.
point.
Nwanosike. Thank you very much. But before we let you go, are you just as one sentence answer? Are you, in fact, the chief accounting officer of your local government today?
By the actions of my governor, I am not.
Thank you very much.
We'll end this here. Thank you so
Dr.
much for your time.
Samuel Nwanosike, the chairman of Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. Thank you for joining us this morning.